What's up, everybody? My name is Brad, and today I'm back with another book review for you guys. If you happen to be new to the channel, maybe just stumbled across this video, I like to talk a lot about indie and small press horror books, a little bit of sci-fi every now and then, a little bit of fantasy every now and then. If that's something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button down below, check out a few other videos, and see if you like what's on the channel. But today, like I said, we're here for a book review, and we're going to be talking about Borne of the Deep by Michael Patrick Hicks. This is book 2 in his Salem Hawley series. Book 1 was The Resurrectionist. I'll leave a link to that review up here in the corner. Being a book 2 in a series, there are going to be slight minor spoilers for book 1. It's just unavoidable in trying to talk about a second book. But here for Borne of the Deep, this takes place immediately after the events of The Resurrectionist. We find Salem Hawley, he has a debt to repay, and to repay that debt, he is tracking down a doctor. He's in pursuit of a doctor in this ancient tome of power that unleashed havoc and destruction in New York City, the events that occurred in book 1. If book 1 was cosmic horror, then here in book 2, Hicks goes full on Lovecraft. Tentacles galore for this book, if you can't tell by the cover art. Speaking of the cover, it was done by Patrick Hicks. He did the cover for book 1 and book 2. I'm assuming he'll do the cover art for book 3. You hear me talk a lot about him here on the channel. He does a ton of great work. He does a lot of these silver shamrock covers. But anyway, book 2 here, it feels like everything is done on a much grander scale than book 1. The monsters, both human and not, they're more repugnant. The threats are more dangerous and menacing. And the epic climax of this rocks the book to its foundations. I haven't talked about the blood and gore yet. There was a lot of violence, blood, and gore in book 1. Hicks, he unflinchingly ups the ante in the viscera department here as well. By the book's end, the reader's going to be soaked to the bone in salt water and stained red with the guts from creatures not of this world. A big highlight for me in this book, besides the cinematic depictions of violence, was the introduction of a new badass female character. I'm probably going to mispronounce her name. I'm horrible at name pronunciation, but it's Louise Lamarche. I'm not sure, it's like a French name. But she was powerful and mysterious, and she was a great conduit for providing information to the reader and Salem Hawley when she would talk about different story elements that didn't feel like it was just a big info dump. I really liked her as a character. I hope we get to see more of her in book 3. Hope she comes back. But like I said, she was mysterious and had certain powers that I don't really want to go into, but she was a nice sidekick, not really sidekick, she was a nice companion for Salem to bounce off of. I really liked their chemistry together, even though it wasn't romantic chemistry. They just played well off of each other, their different personalities, and I just really liked her as a character. She was a great introduction to the story, or a great addition to the story, and like I said, I hope we see more of her in the future. So out of all the unfathomable abominations that Salem Hawley encounters, the biggest obstacle still to impede his progress is the color of his skin. Even when he's fighting to save mankind as we know it, he still has to deal with the racist views of others. You know, this is still a historical fiction novel set in the late 1700s, and it begs the question, who are the true monsters here? Or is it the men and women and their bigoted worldviews, or is it the creatures themselves that they've called forth to wreak havoc and destruction? It really makes you think and put things into perspective in a story like this. The monstrous men and women, or the monstrous, not real creatures, really brings to light the true real world horrors that people have to deal with. But in closing, gruesomely vile and ferociously entertaining, Borne of the Deep by Michael Patrick Hicks sets a blistering pace as Salem Hawley brawls his way through mind-maddening predicaments as the action-packed violence and story collide in the final epic crescendo. This book, it set the stage for what is sure to be an insane final book 3, Black Rock. I cannot wait to see what horrors Michael Patrick Hicks cooks up for book 3, what he has in store for us in book 3. For me, Borne of the Deep, it was a 4-star read. I really enjoyed it. About the same level as book 1, The Resurrectionist. I gave that one 4 stars as well. This has just been a highly entertaining series, and I love the mix-up, the mashup of historical fiction infused with this cosmic horror and this Lovecraftian horror. It's been a whole lot of fun. But that's all I have for you guys today. Again, this has been my review of Borne of the Deep by Michael Patrick Hicks. I gave it 4 stars. If you're into Lovecraft and if you like cosmic horror, you should definitely give this series a try. I believe Blackrock might come out sometime at the end of this year, from what Michael said, but if not, like the first quarter of 2021 for sure. But that's all I have for you guys today, so thank you for spending your time with me. Again, my name is Brad, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.